Recording live from somewhere. It's the world's famous TITT. It's home team in the motherfucking house.
No question.
It is I, Davis Backwards, and who? State your name, gangsta.
Philmatic 365, aka 200. You already know what it is, yo.
Sending a shout out to all our listeners out there, everybody that rocks with us around this globe. Just to let y'all know that I'm War Room Sports, even when I'm by myself. I'm joined at the Heat, even when I'm by myself. Phil, what are you?
I'm on the couch, even when I'm by myself.
Yeah.
yeah, man. We always rep for our family, man. And tonight, man, episode 200 by we had to call in one of the generals, man.
I mean, yo, this guy, although it's 2 against 1 here, as far as when we talk about gangster flicks, what's the best gangster flick? You and I are Godfather all day.
You already know.
But he
take the cannoli, leave the gun,
yeah. He's good fellas, but he's somewhat somewhat of a godfather to us in this whole game as far as getting our personalities out there on the internet and being somebody out here. So Phil, who are we talking about, man?
Oh, you talking about no other than my brother Pizza Aficionado, Real Estate Mogul, you know what I mean?
Stockbroker, international traveler,
international man of leisure. We talking about Jimmy, the Blueprint Williams. You're my boy, Blue. What's up, baby?
What's good, family? Listen, man, I just want to say one bar before we start, man, and that's drop pants, Hello Kitty, open shirt, Hello Titties, pipe down, kidneys, get that money, Oprah Winfrey. Gotta start with a 2 Chainz bar real quick, man. But man, thank you guys for having me for the umpteenth time, man.
Yes,
I can't wait to have some fun and talk some ish with you guys.
And you are Dr. Phil, man, on this Oprah thing, man.
Yeah, it's only right, man. We gotta get you in here so that we can talk.
You get a bar.
Yeah.
You get a bar.
Yeah, for sure.
Yo, listen, man, 200 that's a big deal, man, because a lot of people can't make it. Like 200, that's a lot of work. Like,
yeah, because I'm gonna say that for later, but we pretty nice with this. I'm gonna talk my shit a little later, but let's get right to the shits this evening.
So
real quick, I do want to say this too, though, man, because I'm not slandering the Godfather, because I love the Godfather, like a Mobilary and all that, but at the same time, Goodfellas is just that work, though. But we'll talk about that off air. But I had to put that out there.
Oh, yeah. It's Rakim and Nas, man. It's that same dynamic.
When you choose a side, cats think you hate on the other side. It ain't like that, man.
That leads us to tit for tat. So
yeah, I did that.
Yeah, no, that was ill. For those that don't know, of course, anybody that's new to the show, we welcome you, but all of our listeners, get prepared. We're about to do tit for tat, and as you know, we basically just want the most candid answer. Don't straddle the fence, and just let your hair down, man. Don't worry about how people's opinion, of what you say is gonna affect what their thoughts about you. So anyway, let's start this one here, Phil. You're the resident NFL aficionado. The NFL season is set to embark on another journey right now, but first you got to give props to the reigning champions, right?
Yeah, man. I never thought I'd actually see this day, but
me either.
My city actually got a title for the Sport of Kings. So shout out to all my family and friends that got to shed a grown man tear for the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. Salute to them. They bring it home for Jerome 23 years later, but
man, don't do that. But I was in the chat earlier in the War Room Sports Game Time chat. I put the gif up there of Michael Jordan after he hit the shot over Craig Elo, and I was like, that was my wife. Like when the Philly special happened, but I was Brad Sellers. I was like, whoa. Like I grabbed her quick. Like, all right, let's not get too excited. There's still a lot of game left.
My uncle was like Mike after Father's Day. Yo, he was on the floor rolling around.
But that moment is forever immortalized. And at the time, I didn't think that play was that important. I feel like Brandon Graham's play to knock the ball out of Tom Brady's hands probably as important as any play in Eagles history. But
most definitely,
that play isn't going to get the statue. What play is going to get the statue, or what has already happened? What's the statue that's out there in front of the link, Phil?
Philly special. I mean, it already has the cool name. I mean, Brandon Graham was just, that's a strip sack. That happens, like how they say the bicycle kick. Anybody with a foot in soccer can do it.
Yeah.
A strip sack is, if you're a defensive end worth your weight, that's what you're supposed to do. The Philly special kind of set the tone for everything that was going on. Like that lets you know that the Birds, my bad, I promised I would never call them that again. The Birds is now reserved for the Falcons. The Eagles, they let you know they were not scared of the Patriots. They're the first team that played them in the Super Bowl that I can remember since the Rams that were not scared of them.
That's true. Jim, with that happening, they had they obviously leaked the photo early, of course, and then they had the little ceremony today. You were a person that, you're the boots on the ground, as LeVar said, as far as being out there, and you experienced that whole journey to the Super Bowl and beyond. What do you think about the statue? People give, the city flack about Rocky having a statue and Joe Frazier not having one. But what do you think about the
Rocky's not real?
What do you think about the Philly special statue?
I think that it's a good thing, right? And people don't understand just how much of a football town Philadelphia is, right? So it's actually interesting to me going into this next season because it's almost like I've never seen the city like this where people really don't care. It's like they got their bowl, and it's not that they're not excited about the new season, but they feel it's like the pressure's almost off,
right? And
they're like, "Yo, we go 7-9. I don't care. We won last year." So it's like it's still the Super Bowl hangover from the fans' perspective.
Right.
Not saying they won't be there the same way they've always been there, but I think that it's overall a good thing, and I'm not shocked that it's already happened in terms of the statue.
That's what I was about to say. So too soon or nah?
And that's the funny thing about that question, right? Because if this was maybe 5-10 years ago, I would say yeah, but in 2018, nah. I don't know what too soon means in 2018 because it's like
no such thing.
A couple weeks or a month, it's like people gonna be off that and on to something else. So I think that these days it's like what's too much content or what's too much this. I don't think that exists in 2018.
Okay.
I literally heard somebody say
that's a weird answer, but
when the next M album coming out. So
come on, man.
No, I'll show it to you. Somebody really said, "Yo, I wonder what the next M album gonna sound like." That was today.
But Phil,
and that's to my point.
Yeah,
exactly. And what's up?
No, I was about to say too soon or no.
No, because like I said, this is when they've waited as long as them. And Jim's right. Like it's a football town. Like any other place that you could think of. I mean, like I lived in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Philadelphia is just as much a football town, if not even more, than Green Bay, Wisconsin. And I know that's like kind of crazy to say, but I just say sheerly because of the mass of people. Like Green Bay is like kind of like a college town, in the sense of how they root for the team and how they rally around it. Philly is like that team embodies the entire city. They live and die with that team. So Jim saying that the city's at ease, that's because the Eagles have finally got that bird off their back of not being able to win, and they're like they know they can do it again if they if everything lines up, but they're not under that same kind of pressure anymore. So it's just it's like they got the first Yamin off, and then now we ready to really go to work.
Listen, so man, it's one of those things where Philly is like so blue collar and such a football town that like I said, let's take for example the greatest show on turf. I feel like if that happened in Philly, it wouldn't be embraced as the scrappy team that kind of like won with the injuries last year. Let's take an example. You like the Philly, so the 2008 Phillies world champions. They don't get the same kind of love the 93 Phillies get.
No,
they definitely don't.
It's just because the kind of team they were, and like that matters in Philadelphia. So
for sure.
It's like it's weird. This team that won last year will be embraced in the city forever, and it's not just that they won; it's how they won.
Yeah.
So
with the backup quarterback, that kind of even fit the ethos of the city.
Exactly, that's exactly what I mean. Like it's like the reason AI is beloved because he always gave his all and played hard. Like some will argue he's not the greatest Sixer ever. You got guys like Dr. J, who was, more classy and flew around, but that blue collar like toughness is something different. It's something different.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's that same blue collar mentality. A lot of people from all over the country really hang on to that. People in the South say that about themselves sometimes, but it's also indicative of people that grew up in the Midwest, that Rust Belt, that assembly line, kind of culture. And when we saw that happen in rap, to kind of take it back a little bit, we saw that happen in hip hop. We saw cities such as Detroit, get that that influx of rappers that finally were making their way. And of course, here in the news right now, you already mentioned them just now, but Eminem is in the news.
Yo, Rod, I gotta say, man, you so nice at this now, man. I watch how you weave that that talk about the Eagles.
He's a wizard.
Yo, I'm sitting there like, yo, this boy is actually
Gilly.
You came a long way. You came a long way from episode 1, man. You professional now, man.
I appreciate that, man. I'm trying to do my thing out here.
I sit there and watch you work. I'm like, look at this boy work, man. He's nice, yo. I felt like just watching an MC like at his craft, like
let that man cook, man.
Yeah. Talk your ish, right?
So just going back to that mentality, though, that's something that a lot of people liked Eminem about when he first came out. That he wasn't glamorous, he wasn't Malibu's most wanted, even though he was white. He was still someone that people could champion, even though maybe his material and stuff like that wasn't something that we all could relate to. So here we are, 10 albums deep, and now he's got someone that I'm sure probably looked up to him in MGK, and then also G-Eazy coming at his neck a little bit for throwing some barbs out there. First of all, let's just talk a little bit about who needs to shut up first, and then we'll get a little bit more into what happened over the past few days. If you had to choose between a guy like MGK, who's not even really on anybody's radar as a rapper, still trying to make his way in that respect, or a guy like Eminem, who has the 10 albums, the most albums sold worldwide and all that, who would you want to go away first, or just go away permanently? Who do you not need to hear from anymore, Jim?
I mean, those sweatpants and them trash ass hats. Let's talk about it. I mean, for me, I've wanted Eminem to go away for a long time, and to see it like tide turn where people are actually slandering Eminem is interesting to me, because I've gotten into so many arguments over him, and it's not really from the standpoint of being shady. Don't even ask how, but it's not from that standpoint. It's just that I've never honestly related to his lyrics, but I've always respected his skill. And one thing, to me, it wasn't even about his blue collarness. It's about that he always seemed to respect the culture. So he's always giving props. So you had to respect him from that standpoint. But you dissing like Britney Spears and the Backstreet Boys.
How could you relate to that?
Christopher Reeves, like that man, he still was dissing him after he was dead, yo. Like, come on, man.
And then
trunk and all that.
It's also like that privilege where it's like no one else could get away with that and be considered nice. Nobody cares about you dissing pop stars, but nobody
can make the real Slim Shady.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel
relate to that, right?
Yeah.
And I told people a lot of times he's not in my top 15, and Cass was like really ready to throw hands. And the thing is, I respect his skill, but for me, like that's why I've always been a big Royce guy, because Royce to me is Eminem with melanin.
Yeah,
he should use that as a bar, by the way. But he's like Eminem with melanin. Like his storylines, I relate to more. And by the way, Cocaine is still the hardest song of 2018. But
Cocaine.
But MGK though, like the funny thing is, I actually like that song just because of that one part, because it's like the sweatsuits and the hats. Let's talk about it.
Nah, that definitely. So Phil, what do you say? I mean, we were in college and we were able to kind of see M's, we saw him come from Slim Shady LP to now, like
broke the rubber, bust a nut up in your mother. So how you feel about having another little brother? Nasty mother ucker, talk shit like a trucker. Yo, dude is supremely skilled. Slightly insane, but supremely skilled. I'm always gonna be a fan of skill. So if I gotta pick who I want to stay and who I want to go, like I don't need Shady to make any more albums, but But just for the fact that I know that any given point in time that if he wants to, he can give me an amazing 16 or say something that's like clever or whatever. I'm always gonna be a fan of that. So I'm rolling with Shady in that aspect because MGK I mean he made that song Wild Boy and that was cool if you at the gym, but yeah, I mean this is the closest I'm gonna get to a gym is like talking to my brother right now. I mean yeah, man, I'm rolling with Shady.
Here's a part two for that.
I'll just listen to Cannabis if I want to hear that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's real. Here's a part 2 to that. Bad Meets Evil. If there's a part 2, would you listen to that? Since you mentioned Royce, Jim, yes or no? Would you want another Bad Meets Evil? Yes or no?
You set me up right there, man. I fell for it too, man. Pause, but I fell for a banana in the tailpipe, man. You just got me, man. Because if Bad Meets Evil comes if that's the caveat, then MGK gotta go. Because even when Bad Meets Evil, like Eminem elevates Royce to another level. Because I feel like Royce be trying to chop his head off, and so I mean, if that's the case, MGK gotta go. Because I like the Bad Meets Evil album.
Okay, it's
probably the last Eminem thing I liked, honestly. Like
probably, that probably was,
Because Royce raises his because he can't have stuff when Royce is in the booth with him.
Right, and it kind of centers his subject matter a little bit too. He can't get too wild with Royce there. What do you say, Phil? What do you say?
I mean, I'm here for Bad Meets Evil all day long, man.
All right, that's cool.
I need some more of them Game record album covers though.
Yeah, it was terrible, right? So as we see this go on, I mean, G-Eazy, I don't even really want to bring him into this just because what is
new Fonz.
The Fonz, that's funny.
Fonz are really rap.
Yeah, I mean, he's cool. I don't have any problems with him. But overall, it's just.
I mean, I'd rather listen to him than Logic, but I mean, that's a whole nother story.
That's a whole nother thing, yo. That kid,
like Logic has joints that I like, but he has so many joints that I hate. Like it's crazy. Like he got joints that I like, I really rock with, and then like the joints that I don't like, they make me not like the joints that I do like.
The only joint I don't listen to on the Book of Ryan is Caterpillar Remix with him on it.
It's like he trying to prove something. Like it's like he trying to. It's like he trying to prove that he black, and I'm like, yo, man, just either go to Maury, or I mean, I don't know what to tell you, Chief. Like, I mean, you
that constant struggle he talks about. For one, I don't relate to it. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. I'm just saying, like, as much as he brings it up, it's like so irritating.
I'm not trying to hear nothing about struggle due to skin tone. Yo, I'm not trying to hear it. Though.
But he might find his way. Like recently, J. Cole just stopped sneaking into the college dorms and talking about the first time he met Jay-Z.
Oh my God, yo, you don't understand. Like, no, I actually wrote about that in Sports the Book, which you can find at sportsthebook.com, right? Because that irritated me so much that every song when I first met. And I get that it's a big moment in your life and you're trying to tell your story, but
But when he stopped doing that, he found his identity.
Is it worse than Pac riding on his enemies?
Yeah, you gotta say it with the cadence though.
Yeah, you definitely got it.
I was
enemies. Got him. Yeah.
He don't ride on his enemies. He ride on his enemies. Like, you know what I mean? It's a difference.
But I wanted to talk about that a little bit because when I think of J. Cole, you guys can tell me if this is kind of off base a little bit. We talked about someone finding their identity. I feel like Colin Kaepernick kind of found his identity around the same time J. Cole did too.
Yeah, man.
And they're only a couple years apart as far as age, but you can definitely see like I make jokes. I say, yo, when he got with with Nessa, that that totally changed him. He went from matching his sneakers with his hats to basically starting what is turning into a revolution.
And the funny thing is, I'm not even saying you're wrong, but even if that's true, there's nothing wrong with that because
absolutely not. Yeah.
If your woman doesn't elevate you in some way, then your woman is trash. So
right, yeah, no, that's real.
Agreed.
So shout out to her for that.
Yeah, shout out to her. I mean, she is somewhat of his spokesman. Up until recently, you see him starting to branch out a little bit, and maybe this was all strategic.
Yeah, I mean this because the boy don't really talk, but so much. I mean, somebody had to do it. So definitely shout out to her.
Like Jim said, his actions are definitely speaking louder than his words. For sure.
No doubt.
I wanted to get in that because pretty much if we can all come into agreement, it's the most beautifulest thing that we saw, in the past since the last show, at least Phil and then Jim, was this the white tears that have been flowing down cheeks over the past.
I love it, Daddy.
Obviously we don't mean that in an insensitive way because it's bigots. It's not just white tears. It's bigot tears.
Yeah, listen, man. It's been
that original recipe.
Yeah, but no. What Jim? It is perfect that you're here right now because you've had somewhat of a checkered past with Nike, and you're talking to to
the Nike head. And I saw what you did to checkered past. Yo, I'm telling you, man.
You're talking to two of Nike's biggest proponents that are alive and breathing today. So with that being the case, please tell the people how you feel over the past. Even if we take it back to Serena and them showing support of her cat suit. And, putting the ad out there and then them following that up with their, basically their commercial for the US Open for her with her dad. And then now this, who's spitting better bars than Nike right now?
Yo, that cap commercial. Woo!
Yeah. Listen, man. Here's the thing. I definitely had a weird relationship with the brand Nike, right? Because I'm not like the biggest Nike head because and it's not just from a social standpoint in terms of what they do, but it's also just from a standpoint of like when companies have cults, I try to navigate away from that a little bit. When everybody's doing one thing, I try to but the fact of the matter is, I've kind of came to a change on Nike, not just because of the Kaepernick thing, but I think it was like the year before last. Whenever I read that book, the Shoe Dog book.
Yeah, it's probably about 2 years ago.
Yeah, and to my OG and when I read that book and heard about the journey and him hustling out of the car and all that, I was like, all right. So I kind of read the story, resonated with me. And also I'm not mistaken, right? So companies are in business to make money, right?
Absolutely.
Their only loyalty is really to their shareholders. But with that being said, when I look at the history of Nike and I look at the whole thing and how they stand by their athletes, I don't know if another company has been like that. In terms of when Kobe got in trouble, Tiger, Barkley, and I go back and look at it and see how other brands have just dumped them. It's something to be said for loyalty. Now I understand it's still capitalism, and but they found a way to kind of be revolutionary capitalists, and that sounds weird because it's kind of an oxymoron, but they've been. This isn't new, right? So that's what I'm saying. This isn't new. Yeah. It's actually good business. So I haven't really worn a lot of Nikes, but the one thing I can say, and I tell Phil this all the time, I'm an Apple shareholder and a Nike shareholder.
Absolutely.
Because what I do recognize is companies that do have that cult-like following, that's good for business because those are brands that are more valuable than anything else. The Nike brand itself is valuable. So I've already owned shares in Nike. I actually bought more when it dropped the other day. Didn't drop as much as I wanted it to. And the overall market was down, so I don't think it had nothing to do with Kaepernick, but that's a whole other story. But that's the thing. So I find myself now actually wanting to buy Nikes, and I think this is what they wanted. So they've kind of won me over in that because you vote with your money, you vote with your dollars.
Absolutely.
Right? I was hoping some Hotep 2s came out, but I don't know whether
So there's been two sides of that rumor. So there's a rumor that there's a whole signature line that's coming out. Phil could probably speak to this a little bit more. That will have his influence and definitely his likeness or something that accents what he's about. But there's also one that, of course, he's already been under contract, and this was just a part of the 30th anniversary of the Just Do It campaign.
There won't be a signature line per se where you have the Air Kaepernick, but there will be shoes that he specifically rocks that that'll be associated with him, kind of like how she, for a long time, there wasn't a she,
right,
a Rasheed Wallace sneaker, but he was associated with the Air Force One. Is going to be that, and they're going to bring out select versions of different Nike silhouettes to highlight the Just Do It campaign. And 6 athletes that are associated with the campaign, they'll have respective sneakers. It's going to be the Air Force One. I don't know who's going to be aligned with who, but the Air Force One, the Blazer. Serena is going to be with the Blazer, I believe. Air Force One. There's going to be an Air Max, a Dunk, and then I think they're going to get they're going to find a way to get a Jordan in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Listen, if I can get some red, black, and green Hotep 2s, I'll be cool with
that. But no, I mean this is incredible. I mean, to your point, Jim. I mean, Barkley, he spit on a kid and threw a dude through a window.
Mm-hmm.
Nike was still rolling. In fact, even made a commercial stating that he was not a role model. You shouldn't be looking up him. You shouldn't have your kids looking up to him. They should be looking up to you as the parent. Tiger got into the trouble that he got into, which really wasn't trouble. That was more personal issues, but but they still rolled with him.
They're the only one. If you look at all the endorsements he had, they were dropping like flies when that happened.
Yeah, everybody but Nike. And then Kobe, we know what he got into. McDonald's couldn't wait to distance himself from him. And they wasn't loving it. Nike went. They had just got him, and it would have been easy for them to be like, "Oh no, let's roll." They doubled and tripled down. They had him wearing Laker colored Jordans until they figured out a sneaker for him.
And that's what makes Nike interesting to me too, because I love like business history. Like, one of my favorite, it's probably my favorite genre of book to read, the biographies of business history. And just how Nike functions through chaos is like a study in itself, where most companies just panic and act one way, but their marketing department is top notch because, like you said, the ad was Serena and her father, like the allergies acting up, and then it's like even the Kaepernick ad. I watched that, and that gentleman was like moving. It's like they got it. Like in terms of marketing, they figured it out. And even with me, even the periods and when I'm hating on Nike, some things are undeniable, right? So the 95 Air Max, like, how can you deny them? You could be
one of the greatest pieces of footwear ever, though.
First of all, that's not footwear, that's art. That's one. And then like the Jordan 11, I'm not a Jordan guy at all. Like I don't wear Jordan, but when I saw the 11s, like patent, like what I'm going to do, I'm not going to buy them. Like
I've told the story on here many times. I left school, I just showed up late. Like hey, I gotta be the first dude you see with these on. Like that's when they dropped on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I was like, I need to be the first person in the building with these on, and it was it's a beautiful thing, man.
So even when I hate on them, like they win me over with the art sometimes. But this whole sentiment right here in terms is very interesting to me. It's definitely the most beautifulest thing, and it's kind of like dominated the headlines. Like the tartar sauce community, their reaction was completely. Like it was kind of weird to me, which is why in the group chat I kept posting stuff like I can't believe they're this mad. Like
the boy.
That's what I was asking you. Like what did he do?
Shoes.
Like, what did he do?
Still in them.
Yeah.
like how mad you got to be to set your own feet on fire to go full JoJo dancer? Like I mean. I mean,
like, interesting to me, man. Like,
burning that white.
They were. And I feel like it's just that's an easy target. So now they have somewhere that they can point their finger to, like it's a way to be racist without being racist. If that makes any sense.
But I'm also of the belief of two things. One, it's a very small minority of people, that are representing a whole larger group of people. Because I know a lot of people that didn't that roll with Magda. Because of where I work, and their kids went back to school. They went back to school with Kyrie's. They went back to school with Jordan. So this is even the people that was talking shit about about Nike, they was wearing Converse. What's our girl name?
Betty, one of them. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah, man. She was like, I'm down with Nike, like no swoosh, and then she was like, I like Converse better anyway. And then she was informed by a host of Twitter followers, that Nike owns Converse, and she's like, oh, she reversed that real quick. I'm not getting rid of my Converse. You can't take my all. Like it was like. She was like, it's all fun and games until they threaten the thing you love. Right? I mean,
man, that's all she wears. Her dogs are dick.
Yo, yeah, it's crazy, man. Like their reaction is been very interesting because like I said, it's a way to get it across a message without being so direct, right? We know what it really is about.
Of course,
Brenda, that's her name, Brenda.
Yeah, shout out to Brenda though. Shout out to Brenda and her chucks out there, Brenda. You've been mentioned in the tape. You're now a celebrity. But but I'm telling you, man, this whole story, it's so crazy. I can't believe that they reacted that way, man. Like
initially, Nike didn't even get a chance to post it yet.
They didn't even say anything. That's that's the crazy part, right? Yeah. And the thing about it is, like, if you ever read Nike's quarterly reports, right? So it's interesting. Like
they got one coming out in a few days.
Yeah, from a demographic standpoint, I didn't realize because I went back and read it. Like amongst all this, that they skew that young, and that 2/3 of their customers are like younger than like 40 years old. Yeah. That's 2/3 of their customers. Not too many businesses can say 2/3 of their customers. And also, when you look at how it affected Nike on the market, there wasn't a huge sell-off of people selling Nike stock, but Nike also jumped into one of the top stocks being sold on Robinhood, which skews to a younger demographic, the millennials.
Right.
And Nike was one of the top stocks purchased.
It simplifies things. Like for people that don't know, what does Robinhood do? Like as far as the app or the
Okay, so that's an app. That's an app. It's a brokerage that allows you to purchase stocks. Basically free of charge. And there was called a newer fintech company that specialized in getting the millennials to invest money. So it doesn't have your traditional brokerage fees. It's easy to set up. Anybody would hit me up at JW Blueprint. I'll hook you up with setting up an account. But I noticed on the app over the last 2 days, one of the hottest stocks has been Nike. So millennials are copying it up. So it's one of those things where you have these people burning their sneakers online who come from a certain demographic, but their kids or their grandkids, whoever it may be, Kaepernick is like a hero to them. Right, so it's like they view Kaepernick one way, but the younger generation views him a different way. And Nike is basically catering to the younger demographic. They don't care about a 60-year-old dude.
And you know what this reminds me of, Jim? It reminds me when Calvin Butts was running over CDs with the steamroller. Meanwhile, his daughter and his nephews, they were listening. They were scooping up some of the CDs that kind of slid to the side, and they were playing them. So it's one of those things. Like, and then you got to realize the people that were burning the sneakers, they already bought the sneakers. So Nike got their paper anyway. But the real thing though that is going to be crazy is tomorrow night, debut of the NFL. That commercial's supposed to air during NFL opening night. The NFL who recently they're in the second of a 10-year agreement with Nike as the official uniform provider. They gotta be thrilled, right?
I can't wait to get on Twitter tomorrow night to see the Tartar Sauce community, collective minds, because like collectively they were going crazy.
Yeah,
and that was before 45 even said anything.
Yeah, I know. I heard that he has since said something.
Yeah,
I don't care to see it.
But I mean, it was light. It wasn't. He didn't have all the bars.
Bar.
Yeah, he didn't have all the bars for him. It was like the domestic abuse bar that M gave Joe. Night not getting out the bed for what 45 gave him.
Yeah.
So the thing is though, Ford also came out and said they support the troops' right to protest and things of that nature. You think the all salt no pepper community is gonna
No, Dave.
They're giving up their F-150s.
Yo, we just talked about that last night, though. Like literally, like 24 hours ago.
We were joking about it. We were joking in the group chat. Like,
Yeah,
actually, the joke about Chevy, like they'll get them Chevy pickups, but no, before it came out,
where I live right now, there used to be the largest F-150 producer in America. That plant has since shut down. That's a whole nother discussion for another episode. But still in this area, pound for pound, you're going to, for every 10 cars you see, you're going to see 3 to 4 F-150s. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So they might not buy the sneakers, and I don't believe that either. But they're not giving up the
these are interesting times we live in. And this kind of relates to everything from hip hop to sports, the whole nine, is that we're living in a time where companies are forced to like choose a side. And I just want to see where this goes in the future, right? Because like, are you going to be in a market going shopping? Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, I want to buy this lettuce, but I got to know how they feel about abortion before I buy this brand. Like, where are we headed to? Right? Are we headed to a time where before you buy any product, you have to figure out? Like,
it's going to be on the label. It's going to be like, it's going to have a box like, how do you feel about full term abortions? Yeah, I mean, it's going to be on the side of your helmets. I mean,
it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, man. Like where we're headed, man. But getting back to the question, man, I'm interested to see how they respond to that, man. Salute to Colin. Continue to do what he does. And like you said, if that is his lady indeed that changed him, God bless her, man. Another thing about this, real quick, is that I see a lot of people criticize. He used to say this and he used to do that. They like people can't grow. That drives me ballistic too. Yeah, like I know Vi jokes about it, but people like really harp on that.
I mean, it's the example that we always talk about.
Like because I just didn't understand what his angle was. He just seemed like somebody that was so lost. Like he was like, yeah, I'm a sneakerhead, and he was buying like general release like sneakers out of like Foot Locker, and he was like, he was getting like that. It just seemed like a suburban kid that finally got like an allowance.
Well, I mean, without without trying to overanalyze, boy, you just got to think about it like this. He was a mixed kid that was adopted, that grew up in Milwaukee, got shipped out to Vegas, then to California. He was like, and he's still young. He's still trying to figure out who he is, and then he's dealing with all this change. Then he gets thrust from being like, I'm probably never going to see the field, to being the face of one of the most recognizable franchises in football, and then get into the Super Bowl and all that pressure. So it's a lot. And, it
absolutely is. And you never know what transpired in his life, what she said to him, what book she made him read. I mean, maybe she got some like,
it was literally over a summer. Cause
maybe she got that by Dusty. She might got that.
Remember, Phil, I used to like, he made that insensitive tweet that he had to apologize about.
Yeah, about the storms.
Yeah, like the storms happened in Houston. And was that 20? Yeah. He said, "Oh, you think that's something? Wait, a Z storm is coming."
Yeah,
and it was just like, what is this guy doing? Like, what?
Yeah, and then like 2 weeks later, it's it was a picture of Malik. It's like but the thing about it is like the example I always like to use is like if Malcolm X dies at 24, he's just Detroit Red. And we never get all the beautiful things that we got to follow that. We talk about Tupac, what we hope that he would have become, and we never got to see that. So it's one of those things you got to allow people to be able to grow into the men. People forget that he was literally, in the grand scheme of things, he was a young man. He wasn't even he's still not 30. So he still has.
Right, so it could be she gave him something to read, or maybe she got that by Dissy. Who knows? But no,
he didn't have crochet pants, so it ain't that.
But Vi, something you said too, right? So imagine, right, and to fill your point, to bring it together, imagine when brother El Hajj Malik El Shabazz. Imagine when he was Detroit Red, right? And he first got out as being Malcolm X, and this is in the movie and in this book as well. When he approaches someone who knows him as Detroit Red, he starts talking that talk. Imagine how they look at him or how you would feel.
Right. Yeah.
Get out of here. Like, you know what I mean?
It's like we all know
people just trying to sell me a duck.
But, but to that respect, we all know people that have come home, right? And you know, like
yeah.
I mean, it's like really, you just did like people can say that about Wallow, right?
Yeah,
they could be like, "Yo, dude, you just did like 20 years," and he's like, "Yeah, but I'm free now, you know, like that. I'm not about that now." And listen to my growth.
You prove yourself over time, man. Because there's been plenty of younger who busted wide open, and you know, then they become family women, like, you know what I mean, take care of the kids, the whole nine.
Yeah, we call those banger sisters. Google it, kid.
You know what I mean? Even though you remember what the moisture used to do, but you look at her now, and she's like, you know, taking care of business, right? So,
yeah,
I mean, you got to let people change, man, because a lot of times people, they find themselves at different points in their lives. I just hope he continues to do the good work because, like I said, his action speaks for him. He doesn't really have to say much. He's outside and he's doing things.
Yeah, he's killing it, and we just wanted to, again, just give him, you know, the proper time on this show because he is someone that has been a recurring subject, and rightfully so. I mean, you know, again, I started out pretty skeptical. Phil, to his credit, when we first started doing this show, even then, just talking about, you know, just looking at his progression over the past 4 years, we're at, you know, episode 200. And you know,
if we did a timeline from episode 1 to episode, you saw him wearing the Miami Dolphins hat, and I'm like, yo, come on. Like, I understand what you're doing, but you can't do that as the face of the, you know.
But he was trying to match his J's, man.
Yeah, man. You can get a San Fran hat dyed, bro.
I mean, Bubba Chuck did it though. Like, remember Bubba Chuck? He got in trouble with Philly for doing that.
And because he was wearing Boston joints too, which was just a definite no. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the throwback was fire though. He had the throwback Bill Russell.
Oh yeah. Come on, man. Yeah, you're talking about a jersey.
I'm not wearing it in the game.
Yeah. All right. So, Phil, we've been doing these heat checks for a few episodes. Anybody that listened to our first episodes, they know that we used to actually play a lot of good music on our show.
Yeah.
The powers that be have since.
Shout out to you, UMG.
The powers that be.
Man.
Yeah, no, you know, we were on that pirate radio thing, you know, initially, but no, we like to shed light on MCs such as Del P, such as Jamel Honesty, you know, such as King Shamps. These are all people that are tissue the table.
Davis. Yes.
So in that same respect, I have an MC here that's actually out of Buffalo. Anytime you hear Buffalo and rap now, you almost think, what? That's right. Well, he actually has some work. He's put in some work with Benny the Butcher, who we'll talk about a little bit later. But this young man's name is Johnny Hustle, aka The Hope, and this joint here is called So Tired. All right, so we're back, and again, that was Johnny Hustle, aka The Hope. So Tired. Interested to kind of get into his catalog. Was recently introduced to him via the interwebs, and he actually has a nice social media presence out there. You can check him out there. SoundCloud is just that Johnny Hustle.
Yeah,
there we have it, Philmatic, and we're gonna get into the rest of the show. Again, we have Jimmy the Blueprint Williams here with us. He is again somewhat of a godfather to us, a good fella to us in this
1/3 of the 3-man weave, yo.
Yeah, shout to B Austin, shout to Dev. We definitely have to get them on the show soon. Shout to the Burtons, who will actually be making their way down to Austin, Texas to visit, to make a return trip in a couple of weeks. I'm excited to get my fat boy the light on.
Yo, man, if somebody don't FedEx me some Franklins,
I'm gonna try to see what I can do. Well, I mean,
I'm gonna FedEx you some hands.
I mean, first of all, I mean, you're scheduled to get here for South by Southwest 2019, and we're gonna be gluttonous guys, man. I'm gonna put all my dietary restrictions.
We gonna be out there like Action and Mayhem, yo. I mean,
exactly. Shout to Big Body Best to.
Oh, no doubt.
By the way.
You already know I want my second first.
So as we get into the show here, something that we've been doing for a little bit, Filmatic, man. You know, the tissue cares that don't nobody else care. I mean, we gotta give credit to a few ladies on the show every time we do this, man.
I love women.
Yeah,
mother's one that helps.
So the first one that we're going to talk about here, just really quick, her name is Niecy Nash. You might know her from Reno 911.
Claws.
Man, you might know her from Claws, which is actually a sneaky good show that my wife watched and I saw a few episodes of.
And rated on the couch with the Wilsons. Check that. I believe that was episode 18.
If you don't follow Niecy online and you're into MILFs or you're into you know, listen, she's her mom, like I was like, you see the family
the
tree.
Lineage is
see it from her mom to her daughter. I mean, it's incredible. But to see how quick and smart she is really good to just see her on TV. And apparently, we're gonna be seeing a lot more of her. She may be the first late night TV host ever.
Okay.
On TNT.
I was like, yo, you gotta clarify.
You know, we gotta clarify a little bit more. So she's already on TBS with Claws, and it looks like the
TNT with Claws.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Is it TNT?
TNT.
Okay, I'm sorry. It is. So it looks like TNT loves her so much. The Turner family's like, look, yo, so currently the show right now, she's scheduled to host and executive produce it. It's called Naked with Niecy Nash. And she's going to be talking about everything from love, relationships, romance, sex advice with, you know, everyday people. Jim, what are your thoughts? Niecy Nash, you know, she's been doing this for a minute and now she's being, you know, elevated to this platform. You know, are you familiar with her work?
No, I am. I'm familiar with her. Now I'm getting familiar with her Instagram right now and them twins. But
yeah,
no, but I'm definitely happy for her, man. Because I do see her in TNT often, which is funny. So they may have found something over there.
Yeah,
found a work with. So, but congratulations to her, man, because that's going to open up the door for many more.
Exactly.
Yeah, man, she's super talented, man. She one of her best works, super underrated show. If you ever get a chance to check it out, Getting On, that was on HBO. Yeah. It was a comedy, but it was a little more. Yeah, it was supposed to be. It was designed to be like a mini series. They don't call them that no more. They call them.
She was a nurse.
Runs. Yeah,
she was a nurse, right?
Yeah. It was a dramedy, I guess is the best way to call it. But it was an excellent, well written show. Nominated for a couple things, I believe. But Niecy's doing her thing, man. And yeah, she's executive producing this show. I believe she's an executive producer on Claws as well.
For sure.
Which also stars another favorite of the show, Karrueche Tran.
Yeah.
You know,
steak sauce.
She gotta have it, right?
Got to.
No way she can't.
All right, so shout to Niecy.
Waits. He's still waiting outside.
We also love when statutes are broken, when things that, you know, no longer are taboo come to place, and giving honor to Black women all around. So there's a person in history. Her name is Allison Dunnigan, and she was the first Black female White House reporter to be honored with the bronze statue. Like, okay, that's one thing, but I mean, she actually was the first Black female White House reporter, and you know, we see it now. You're talking about breaking down barriers and, you know, opening doors for people, especially in media. You know, at the time when she did it, it was, you know, at the time it just wasn't, you know, it wasn't a thing. She did it in the 40s and 50s, so you know, they barely wanted, you know, people to drink out of the same water fountain. They didn't want people to drink out of the same water fountain. So imagine
Black men were still the cabs.
Exactly. Man. So but yeah, no, she started in the Truman administration, and here she is actually getting honored now, which is pretty cool.
So you're telling me Reagan was the prez, but so was Harry Truman.
I mean, you know that was said once upon a time, but she definitely is someone that you might want to just go back and, you know, do your Googles about. I spent some time when I heard her name, and they'll actually be unveiling this sometime this month, and we'll definitely highlight this on tissueonthetape.com.
Your boy gonna be there for the ribbon cutting ceremony?
I highly doubt that.
I apologize. I gotta stop calling him your boy because he's nobody's boy.
He's nobody's.
No, that's crazy because only thought I have about this is like I didn't know this story, right? Mm-hmm. So same way I felt when I saw Hidden Colors, I was like, exactly. This is, you know what I mean? Like there's so many stories out there. Yeah, so I did just learn about this. And
one day when HBO gives us our platform, we're gonna this is gonna be one of our shows we executive produce about these uncovering these women.
Yeah, actually,
all the beautiful things that they've done and the accomplishments they've made. I
mean, because it really has paved the way. Like when you think of someone that journalism and you think of media and you think of social media, all of these things are from the same like family tree.
We don't get Angela Rod if it wasn't for this woman,
exactly,
breaking down these doors. So
yeah,
big ups.
So salute to her. In terms of first, Phil, we always talk about this. One day we just want to get to the point where it's not a first, it's a second, it's a third, it's the fourth.
I needed to be the 58th, yo.
Exactly. Exactly. But in a major upset, Ayanna Pressley, for those that aren't familiar with some of the New England politics that go on, there aren't a lot of people being not a lot of Black people represented in the House and in the Senate and even in local government. Ayanna Pressley is someone who was actually broken through. She defeated her opponent in Massachusetts primary. There isn't going to be a Republican that'll be running against her. So she pretty much is a shoo-in to join the ranks in November to be the first Black congressional member, first Black woman congresswoman from Massachusetts. So, I mean, this is huge.
That's huge. That's fire. Salute to her too, man. Because like I watched some of her content even before she won because I saw people talking about her online and trying to get the people out there to vote. And I was impressed. Like she got that one video, like riding in a bus and talking about the community. I'm like, this is hard. Like, salute to her.
She's familiar with breaking down barriers like this. And in 2009, she actually was the first woman of color to be elected to the Boston City Council. And for anybody that knows anything about that particular city and its history, for someone to be on the city council of, someone of color and then for them to be a woman, is just unprecedented and, just something that is extremely a huge accomplishment. Right, Phil?
Yeah, man. As our great grand OG, Bill Russell, he'll tell you all about the city of Boston.
Yeah, for sure.
It's people of color.
Yeah.
But yeah, she got homeboy out of there, man. The guy that was originally in there that she beat, he had been in there in seat since 1998. He was in office since Confessions of Fire came out.
he was out there with when nature was kicking street tails.
Yeah, exactly.
His Oye was on Broadway all day.
The Survival of the Fittest tour had just ended when he took seat.
Oh man!
So it was about time for him to go somewhere.
Black Star was just meeting brown skinned ladies.
Lauryn Hill had just stole all the music from Robert Glasper. Robert Glasper was eating oodles and noodles and tuna in his mother's basement, and now look at him.
Boogie was erasing names off.
But no, man, shout out to Ayanna Pressley. Those that aren't familiar with her, you could definitely check her out. She is at Ayanna Pressley on Twitter, online.
Might write some, but I just stole one. No, stop.
And this is the last person that I want to talk to, just because it was pretty funny to see one of the promotional trailers for the new shows that are coming out. Channing Dungey, she's the head over there at ABC. She's in control of the content that comes out there. So, all the Blackish, fresh off the boat. These are all things that have happened under her regime pretty much. And one of the things that's probably the biggest on a national standpoint is the fact that she was responsible for Roseanne getting the axe pretty much after she had her episode.
Chop.
Yeah, man, this is the greatest time in the world for TV, man.
Yeah. But the illest thing about this is, Roseanne made her remarks, whatnot. Okay, they were insensitive, got her out of there, and then they said, you know what? We still got advertisers that want to pay for, the type of people that are coming to watch this blue collar comedy. Why don't we go ahead and just get rid of her and then just have her family be the center of the show? So now the Connors are coming out, and Roseanne will not be a part of that show.
From a storyline standpoint, how do you pull that off?
Are they gonna kill her off? That's my question.
No, there's actually precedent to this because being a TV dude that I am, I don't know if you guys remember a show called Valerie.
No. With
Jason Bateman. Anyway,
I'm familiar with that body of work.
Oh, but are you familiar with the Hogan family?
Yes.
All right. Before there was the Hogan family, there was Valerie. Valerie was the show was centered around Valerie Bertinelli. It didn't work out. They fired her ass. They kept everybody else and called it the Hogan family because their last name on the show was Hogan. Same exact show. They just X'd her out altogether. She moved and never came back. She walked upstairs and never came back down. However you want to spin it. But it was the same exact show minus her, and it was based around the kids and the dad.
Now y'all have seen the credits on like movies and especially like TV shows, right? Like you see where it's like hundreds of people that are being employed just to get one television production off.
Exactly.
So it was extremely sad to see her comments cause the canceling of that show. So when they, when Channing said, you know what?
They was putting numbers on the board too.
Because she had extremely like polarizing content, and some of the things that she was in support of, people were tuning in to see. So Channing said, you know what, we got something for you, Roseanne. We're gonna go ahead and get you up out of here. We still keep the show intact. So
I'm hoping to see how it works out, man. Because I've also seen Sanford and Son without Fred Sanford when they tried to put Grady in the lead role.
Sanford Arms.
That was the Sanford Arms. That was absolutely
This also happened with the Golden Girls without B. Arthur, and they had the Golden Arms, and it became a different show. So there is precedent for this working, and there's precedent for it not working. Like I mentioned, you had to go way back to the early 90s to go to the Hogan family, but it was actually.
My question though, Phil. You said she walked upstairs and never came back. Like what?
She was the housekeeper in this show, and she was like kind of like the matriarch. What was actually going to end up happening? She was going to connect with the dad. They were going to get married. By season 5, they were going to have the wedding and all that.
Who's the boss type, John?
Yeah, she moved, and then it just became centered around the family dynamic with the kids in the single dad. And that was because she had a falling out with the producers and everything. So they
in hip hop, when has this happened where it's been like a prominent group that was centered around someone and then
Brand Nubian? First one I thought about thinking about this. NWA.
Yeah.
And those are two scenarios where, depending on who you ask, NWA was still fine without Q. They weren't the same.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people like Agons for life.
E-Phil Forzagging, E-Phil Forzagging.
It wasn't quite the same. And,
the music was dope.
It was still tough.
It wasn't straight out of Compton. It ain't that.
Recently, I just saw something where like if you're on Twitter or something, it'll say like this person just
tweeted. Always into something when that junk come on.
Yeah.
Oh no! I didn't say it wasn't fire. It was absolute fire.
Dre still be Dre though. When that flute hit on listen, always into something.
That's an album that could not get made in 2018. But that's a whole nother show.
Apparently, according to MC Ren, he's still he's got his pen working. His pen is still that piff. So I don't know what Ren is working on. It's been a while since anybody.
I don't want no problems. So I'm gonna just let Ren have that until he proves otherwise, because he's still the ruthless villain when I see him.
Lorenzo, no doubt.
Rolling in the
Benzo. We're giving a shout to those 4 ladies. Salute to them. Definitely take some time and do some research and then pass the information on, not only to our sons, but definitely to our daughters and our nieces and our cousins and our sisters to, just let them know that, there are, of course, women out here that have paved the way for them to do whatever they want to do,
Absolutely.
whether it's politics, whether it's tech, whether it's sports, whether it's entertainment, everything. Whether even if it's just teaching, whatever it is, there's someone out there that's laid the groundwork for you, and we salute them.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
The tape cares if don't nobody else care.
The black woman is God, but I did that another episode. It's a whole other episode. I'm gonna chill on that.
Okay, we can talk about that.
Let's talk about it.
My question for you guys as we head into the last portion of the show is everything a rollout in 2018?
100%.
Yeah.
I should say 99% because sometimes you do have those rare.
There's some genuine moments going on.
Yeah, you have rare genuine moments. But for 99,
even if it's genuine, once it clicks, you're like, oh, it's time for a rollout. You gotta build on that. Even if you didn't mean to, you build on that.
No, you're absolutely right. So 100% rollout.
you see the guys that go viral with a tweet or something like that. They're like, yo, I don't have a SoundCloud, but yo, check out my Cash App. Like check out my GoFundMe.
Yo, Shiggy was just dancing because that's what he do. And then that became his rollout. He was at Madison Square Garden, sold out.
He was at Barclays too, man.
Yeah.
When I tell you I seen him anywhere, like because we all online. So like, when I see him, he's Waldo right now.
Yeah.
And it's almost amazing. I want to see just how far and how long he can stretch this because
my little cuz still should have snuffed him though. You can't
That was cool though. Man. I love that.
I'm telling you,
I love that. That was great.
If we had any kind of award show,
I watched that clip, and the clip that Phil is talking about is Russell Wilson and Sierra
from the ESPYs. Little cuz was supposed to snuff him.
That was hilarious.
Right on the ESPY floor. Like he's such a nice dude that he let it rock. Anybody, and he only did that because it was Russell Wilson. Who else you think he getting that off on?
He probably wouldn't even do that to Aaron Rodgers.
Then the fix was in too, though, man. I don't think that was organic.
It wasn't. He said he was a good sport about it.
You think he running up on B like that? I mean, Tata. You think Tata ain't there with pepper spray?
Yeah,
hey, come on, man.
Nah, that was a good moment though. You could see a little bit of his comedic timing with it too.
I mean, it was a cool little moment for. It just.
You're not rocking with that.
No, man. Nah, man. That's if that's his girlfriend, maybe that's his wife though. That's the mother of his children. Yeah, man. It's a different degree of homicide.
The mother of his stepson.
The mother of his real son.
So I say this. I asked you that question to get into Marshall Mathers' 10th studio LP that we talked about a little bit previously. It just came out of a surprise type of thing on all, what do they call it now, Phil? What do they say? DSPs, digital streaming platforms. Is that it?
Digital streaming platforms. Yes, yeah. DSPs.
I'm so old, man. I can't get over that.
What Shiggy had ran up on Joe and tried to take a picture with Sin?
I mean, he might got chased with some rocks or something. But...
all right. I didn't mean to cut you off, but that really just. I mean, he knew he could get that off him.
Right, we were talking about Joe a little bit too, but with Kamikaze, we talked about the fact that M isn't necessarily any of our favorite MCs, but at this point, with the surprise LP, are you better off just dropping at midnight and kind of going off of that buzz, or do you take a month or 3 weeks to really promote your album? Because I felt like a guy like Royce, if we were talking about M, like Booker Ryan, he talked about that for a long time, and it finally came out. It didn't come out on 5/9; it came out on 5/4, which I thought was a mistake. But that's another story. But what do you think about the surprise album versus the traditional?
I think it depends upon the artist, and for the record, again, "Cocaine" is the hardest song of 2018. But I think Eminem can do that, right? So Eminem is a pop star. He transcends like hip hop and music. I mean, he's new age Elvis. He can do that, and in terms of my thoughts on the album, and I know you didn't really ask that, but I think that adds something to it though, because it came out of nowhere for me. I had no idea. I saw it pop up on time.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you told me because I know.
You know, here's the funny thing though. Speaking of that, I recognize too because I'm a title guy. You know, I know y'all Apple Music and it's Phil. I think you title too. I'm not sure.
I got both.
Okay, all right.
Title stopped working on my phone like about 8 months ago. They were just taking my money, and I couldn't stream like away from Wi-Fi.
That's because you was ripping stuff off Tidal to spite people. But anyway,
I'm in the building next Saturday, Jim. I ain't telling. I'm in the building in NRG Stadium. You know, Carter's, throw it up.
Oh, shout out to the faculty.
You going to the Beyonce show featuring
featuring Sean, her husband.
Her husband. Here's the thing though, right? Just going back to that, it's amazing to me. I recognize the power of where Tidal places your album on their service, and I'm pretty sure it's the same way on every service. But I never really paid attention to it until like this, like when that Kamikaze, and also Blame It on Jay-Z. Like the only reason I came across that was because he got great placement. I wonder why, but so when I got on Tidal, I saw the M album, I put it on, and I was pleasantly surprised because he was back to rapping, right? And we talked about the whole time, even though he's not our favorite, he can rap. Right. So that was refreshing to hear him rap. But then after it was over with, I was like, I don't really want to hear it no more. Like I don't want to hear it no more. But and
you've said before, like it takes a special album for you to revisit later down the line anyway, because it's so much content.
And it's funny because like even preparing for the show and listening to certain music is like in 2018 specifically, you have to do something to grab me and make me want to listen. And if you don't do that right away on your first couple songs, I'll give it a try. It's like it's so much content that I just have to go to something. It's the same for a TV show. Mm-hmm. Like certain TV shows I'll put on, and if like after a couple minutes, if you don't grab me, it's like, yo, I don't want to watch this. I can spend my time. There's too many other good things out there.
Right.
And
speaking of which, have you finished New Jack Godfellas?
Oh yeah. For Succession recommendation, I did like it. I mean, Phil gassed it up so much though that I don't think it could have ever lived up to the hype.
Right.
Boy, it's a combination of Goodfellas, New Jack City, and Billions. Those are three things that I absolutely love though. Like
when you great stuff. Yo, I love that you added New Jack City in there because that was never. I said, but
you did put Game of Thrones in there too, though. You said Game of Thrones. You named a bunch of stuff that I love, and it's
because I've noticed with y'all, especially with y'all too. I have to gas it to even get y'all somewhere interested. Because if I just be like, yeah, they'd be like, yo, you ain't really like it because you ain't say it was.
Yeah, that's true.
I gotta put sauce.
That is true. That is true.
I gotta put sauce on it to make y'all and then
you can put 87. You ain't gotta put 93 on it though. Like
he put that ether on it.
Yeah.
Burn slow, man.
But getting back to Kamikaze though, I think it's kind of weird to name your album Kamikaze when you think about what a kamikaze is. But
it is out of nowhere, you know. And the first sound that you hear on the album is a plane crash.
But you end up dead at the end.
Like that's what I'm thinking, right? Am I wrong in that? Like, what are you doing? Like,
no, unless he don't know what kamikaze mean, and I don't think.
But I thought it was, you know, like out of nowhere, like paying homage to the Beastie Boys, who are obviously a big influence on him. Like with the album cover, you know, I saw what he was doing. But to your original but it's also that part is like you're sacrificing yourself to dead your enemy too, right?
Yeah.
So
but it's also into the album. It's like he's trying to make himself the victim, and he's kind of mad because everyone didn't like his last couple projects.
The last shit was whack.
But hold on though. At the same time, if you listen to the actual lyrics in his album, he's saying the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's weird. Mm-hmm. It's like, I could have did this better. I could have did this better.
Okay.
But y'all trash for calling it trash, huh?
Right. No doubt.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he said it. He said it was whack. But it's I guess it's one of them things. It's okay if I call my own shit whack. But like to your original question, Vod, you know, dropping the albums out of nowhere, that's a consignment thing. That's a strictly for live men, not for freshmen.
Yeah.
Like there's a handful of artists that can do that. You know, you talk about, you know, Drake, B, you know, whether we like him or not, Kanye could do it.
Yeah. Is Chance in there?
He's getting there. He's getting there. I think like because
I feel like he could just drop something tomorrow. Like when he comes out, he's not gonna have like, it's not gonna be a super huge rollout, but you're gonna know it's coming. But I don't think he's a semi household name. I don't think he's all the way there. I thought you were about to call him a house nigga. I was like, yo. Oh man, no man, I was not the channel from 79th. No. Oh, okay. I was about to be like,
I got a question.
You know what channel is gonna be like? Fuck you.
Well, I was thinking about this in reference to Eminem, right? Right. I don't know where overall, you know, and that probably changes day to day in terms of where you rank people. But if you take Stan out of his discography, does that change like overall, like? Because Stan is such a powerful record. Mm-hmm. If you take that away from M, does that change your opinion of him overall?
Not me, because that's not why I liked him. I gave you some of them early bars why I liked him, just because he just said the wildest shit.
Yeah, but that's battle rap M. But to me, would put M up on that. All right, he's upper echelon, or as Styles calls upper echelon. What puts him there is when I heard him pen Stan. When you pen Stan, that puts you to me in a different place. It's not just putting them words together and punching. Right. It's he even in the other song we say the joint with that he did with Rick Rubin when he says at the end, like, I wrote Stan, like, don't forget I wrote Stan, or whatever he says.
What, love the way you lie?
No, it's about like Berserk or something.
Oh man,
one of them Jones, but he says at the end, like, I wrote Stan, like basically. Y'all can't forget that this is.
No, that was cinematic. Yeah, that was.
I mean, no, it was all of that. But for me, I think the one that solidified was like probably Till I Collapse, because
that's my favorite M song.
Me too, because he acknowledged several things that we all had been saying, like, yo, I'm this popular because I'm white. I can rap and I do have skill, but I have this level of celebrity and this amount of popularity because I'm white.
Right.
Then he also right. but I'm also sick with it. And I'm a student of the game, and these are the people that I look up to. And he named, Emmett, he named Reggie, Jada, Tupac, Nas and Biggie, Jada, Corrupt.
He's saying then me.
And then but he was letting you know that I know this art.
That's probably like my third. That's probably like my third favorite Marshall song.
Yeah,
my two favorite Marshall songs. Stan is number one, but then Lose Yourself, and that's also like because both of those, he's like in both of those songs, he's painting the picture, he's telling a story, and I guess
the way I am, I like too. I just like the. Because that was him dealing with being famous, like that had to be a crazy thing. Like,
they messed that song up with the censoring of it though. Like when you go back and listen to it now, like especially like some of the later pressings of it.
Oh no, I got an original pressing.
Yeah. If you don't have that, it's a horrible.
You got all your F-bombs in there, huh?
Yeah. I mean,
it's one of the weirdest.
He's still dropping them in 2018. Though, like,
yeah.
It's one of them. It's one of them. Kick your funky heart out.
but it is. But there's mad curse words in it, but they only took out like a few. It's just like I never understood why though. Like
it's like when I hear Biggie now, they say time to get paid, and they they blow up like the World Trade. That's like mad weird for me. But anyway, So Eminem does have some joints, as we're sitting there saying. So it's not all Eminem slant, because like to me, Lose Yourself and Stan are just like. Yeah. But I was thinking if you take Stan, because Stan to me is still his best record. Like the imagery, the story, and then the video to go with it is just hard.
I mean, it had the whole complete package. And then the live performances of it. I mean that he killed those too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but in terms of going back to this whole kamikaze thing, is weird and when he's always been the bully, even though he's bullying like pop stars, and because if you guys want to keep it a bean, I think that Ja Rule effed him up a little bit.
Yeah.
But this is what I was talking to somebody with earlier, Jim, and who has he actually danced with on a record? When you talk about as far as like beefing with and having somebody actually, he threw shots at Ja, he threw shots at Ray Benzino, threw shots at Everlast and Vanilla Ice, and then as you mentioned, a bunch of pop stars. So I mean, he's never threw anything at somebody that we would consider like a lyrical tyrant, somebody that could throw him back. At the same,
I think part of that is also him keeping it with his whole thing of respecting the culture. Like, so he's basically been a bully, though. That's kind of what I'm saying. Like, he's been the bully, and now you hear him want to play the victim, and he's saying names that he probably should stay away from.
Yeah, there's a couple on there that he probably, at least one in particular, and of course, you know, we saw the past 12 days be pretty monumental in the life of Joe Budden. He's someone who's kind of elevated himself to the top of the hip hop media game, and we salute him. Just seeing where he's come, from, I'll name this podcast later, with Marissa and Rory, to basically the Joe Budden show with Rory and Maul, and or as Charlamagne says, Mal. And
yo, shout to the podcast. Podcast is crazy.
No, it is. But, you see what they've been able to do. Is Joe just going to sit on it though? Like, he's not going to.
I wonder if they had the level of success if Taxstone doesn't go away. And I know that's all speculation. No one knows.
No, Tax was on his way, man.
Tax was definitely on his way, but they do different things.
Yeah,
but their audiences overlap a little bit, right? So yeah. Tax was that guy before.
Well, the thing is, I think Tax would have got the bigger push because that was Charlamagne's guy. So he would have got a bigger push from Charlamagne. And Charlamagne already has the platform. So and then Tax was also Combat Jack's guy, rest in peace. So the Loudspeakers Network was there.
Yeah.
So he would have had that, but I think Joe still would be in the same place that he's in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I definitely think that he and that's no shots because their podcast, like, we all listen.
Yeah.
I think they definitely benefit from the God being sent away.
Yeah. I mean, you see, they had their little moment when Joe was on there. He walked away and whatnot, or
classic.
Yeah. So Joe just knows how to push people's buttons, man. Like, no pun intended. Like, he just really just knows how to get other people.
He like that Kermit the Frog joint you sent in the text.
Yeah.
That's Joe. That's like.
But in Jim, you can speak to this in terms of like trolling. We get at you about this. You're professional trolls, so like how to get under people's skin, and then when people try to
serve troll house cookies, man.
Look when people troll house cookies. When people try to come at you, you're like, man, yeah, that's cool, whatever. They're like, no, but the Broncos lost 19 games in a row. Yeah, that's what's up. It's like, what do you do with that?
Yeah, there's nothing that we can do, right? Because I mean, because the thing about being online is I recognize that the whole thing with social media, watching how social media has changed over the years, right? So I'm an early adopter. I've been on Twitter since like I think 07, 08, somewhere around that time.
Yeah.
So I've literally I know for a fact I've been on Twitter over a decade, right? And the same with Facebook. When you see like memories from 10 years ago, you're like, damn. So like I've been on there a long time, and to see how it's changed in specifically Facebook, right? So now Facebook, this is all like my mother, my great aunts, and it's like their trends kind of older, right?
Right.
And you see how Instagram is what it is, Twitter is what it is. And what you recognize is I see people like literally get upset, lose sleep, lose time in terms of arguing and fighting and debating with people. And I've been online long enough to know that you can't take none of that stuff serious.
You can't, man.
Oh man, sometimes though they just grab you.
Yo, shout out to my brother Dev. Like, my brother Dev be like trying to invite people to Rumbles and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I just can't get into it. Like, for me, it's all entertainment though. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, and Vi knows it because Vi was like, "Oh, he must got some free time."
Yeah. I said that it was Labor Day. I said you was waiting for the food. You was waiting for the food to be ready.
Yeah, man. Somebody was late warming the grill up.
I laugh when he said that because sometimes that's exactly what it is. It's like, man, let me just go mess with somebody. But and I'm not Takashi or nothing like that. I don't take it too far. I don't invite people to my private parts. But You know,
yeah, he's wild.
It is something to be said for that, right? In this media space, like it's a changing thing. You know, and going back to Phil's Succession, it's sort of like in Succession when you got the father who wants to buy TV stations, and the son's like, "Why are we buying TV stations in 2017? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we should be focusing on this." So it's like watching this whole media space change. Even before we got on here, we were talking about ESPN, and Phil is still like full ESPN, and it's like, I don't know, like. For me, I'm so digital right now. Like I spend more time on YouTube than probably any other platform.
Right.
And just watching the whole demographic and watching the new faces come along. Because
do you have cable? Do you have cable?
No, I haven't had cable in years.
Yeah.
I haven't had cable in years. I mean, I don't miss anything. I still got access to everything everybody else does.
I'm trying to get our brother on that wave, and he's just like, nah, man.
I cut the cord years ago. But it's crazy, right? Because you know. It used to be these guys who were the gatekeepers, and they're kind of like gone. And we see this in hip hop too, with you got these young kids who dominate the game and don't even play the radio game. They don't even play the old game.
Right.
And it's kind of amazing. But now you see that happening in news, not just hip hop journalism, but regular journalism. Whether you talk about the Young Turks or you talk about even the conservative, even though you know Tommy Lauren now went to Fox, but before then she was on the Blaze, which was like a digital platform. Like you see people building these huge platforms on both sides, all kinds of different media outlets. And to me, it's just an amazing thing to see. And you see how, like, you know, going back to the Joe Budden podcast, which is where it started from, how they find their space. There's space for everybody. Like there's room for everybody to eat. But to me, it's just it's what a time to be alive, right? You know, because
I mean, shit, we doing this.
Exactly.
This is exactly the point. And you guys have spent time with legends on your platform. The legendary Planet Asia.
Man, Planet Asia, shout to PA. Yeah,
definitely shout out to PA. I mean,
I just had to find a way to give a PA shout out because that's one of my favorite guys. I mean, you guys got two of my favorite dudes on here, although me and Vod will probably argue about this. But Razzcast and Planet Asia are two of my favorites, although I think Vod is tripping where he ranks Razzcast. But that's either here nor there.
That's for another time.
No, don't do it. Not where you rank. Not where you rank him, because Razzcast is an all-time great. And I actually called in one time when y'all had him on, you know, just to speak. This is my Razzcast, my favorite Razzcast bars at him. But I think Vibe made a statement one time, like he was the illest MC from some time period.
Yeah.
And
I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong.
I'm not wrong.
I mean, I'm basically saying like post. Well, it's hard to say, but I'm just saying just his pen, not necessarily him, but his pen from the time that Soul on Ice came out up until about the time,
which was 96.
Yeah, up until about the time that you mentioned where Game kind of got at him and threw him off his like axis a little bit. But for that about 9-year run, his pen was as
everything he was saying was flame.
His pen was as potent as anybody.
I'm not saying that, but I'm just talking about in terms of being the best on that time, because that was a time period where we had nothing but killers in the game.
Of course.
What's interesting to me is the reason why Razzcast will always be a legend to me is because KRS-One, Razzcast, Cannabis are probably the 3 MCs that I've literally listened to and went and did research after listening to their raps.
Exactly.
I remember the first time I heard You Must Learn, I was blown away, right? And I actually remember going to school. I think it was like elementary school. I actually remember going to school and like using those bars in class and getting extra credit. Teacher thinking I was like so smart.
Granville Woods made the walkie-talkie. Yo, I was like,
I used that in reports, and I was killing it based upon that song. When I heard Nature,
I got a confession.
Yes, sir.
So we've talked about KRS-One here on this show. Legend. A guy that I don't necessarily,
don't do it.
I don't always talk about him. That's like I like to make fun of him sometimes. But I will be in attendance when he is here in Austin, Texas, next Thursday.
The live show.
The live show is one of the best things you'll ever see. There's no gimmicks. There's no pyro.
Yeah, I can't.
None of that. It's just
like I'm actually like really excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I'm not even gonna put the cap on that. I'm not even. It's no cap needed. You've seen the videos.
I haven't actually been to one. Like I've been to a show where he's come out. I haven't been to a show that's just solely his. So I'm excited about.
No, he's an MC. He's in. But my point is, when I heard You Must Learn, like I went and did research. When I heard Nature the Threat, it blew me away. I went and picked up a book. And when I heard Poet Laureate too, I went and did like research. Like, come on, some of this can't be. How are you writing this?
Right.
So to me, Basscast will always be a top guy. So my point is, getting back to the whole media thing, I always started with this. You guys have had on like, you know, straight up legends, and it's just amazing to see this digital space and to see people kind of create their own lanes within this digital space. And that's what's interesting to me about, like, you know, the Joe Budden podcast, and tying it back into the original thing with Eminem though. I also thought it was interesting to see the response on the podcast. Right? Yeah. Because now that's also showing you how culture's changing too. Like, you diss me in the song, I'm gonna trash you for 3 hours.
Yeah, and that was a long 4 days, man. Long, because you know, normally Joey would have been in the booth. He would have made an EP. He even said when he was listening to it, he already had bars, and he was like, "Oh wait, I retired. I forgot I retired." But he was like, to wait to see what they were going to talk about on the show was actually really like almost like a release date.
Yeah,
that's what it felt like.
To your point,
because at first I didn't even think they were going to do another podcast until the Spotify official.
Yeah,
but
they had to.
He had to. Like, it was crazy, man. And I mean, definitely big shout out to Joe and them for their Spotify move. I like the fact that he didn't just automatically revert back to the booth though, like, because that's what everybody expected him to do. I mean, even I was like, yeah, he's gonna.
He's a troll, so he's gonna do exactly what people don't want.
But that's interesting, because I was actually waiting to see what you guys thought about that, because you have some hip hop purists who didn't like the move of going to the podcast. To me, it was interesting. To me, to see how things have changed, because
that's not the beef, Jim. No, the one I don't care about him and Eminem. That doesn't mean anything. This one that's brewing between him and Dominic from Long Beach.
Yeah,
that's the one.
That's gonna hurt, man. That's gonna
that one could get ugly. That one could get ugly.
Yeah. That one will get ugly. I don't even want to. I mean, it's going to be incredible because they're.
But I just don't want to see it.
Yeah, but I like both of them too much. And then I'm gonna have to analyze the bars. We're gonna have to come on here and talk about it. I'm gonna be sad and shit. I don't want that, man. I just want Joe to do his podcast, man. Because I mean, he what they do is, other than you know, Juan Epstein combating us, you know, then it. I mean, as far as I'm talking about as far as like,
I know.
I mean, when we started, you know, I mean.
That leads us to as we head towards the end of the show.
Yeah, I don't want to see that either.
That's gonna be that's Vaughn. I know you're like, that's like when I saw like T-Rex and K-Shine. I didn't want to see that. Like, I just don't.
But that was needed though. That had been bubbling for so long.
Yeah, but I don't like to see that.
Well, but I mean, this has kind of been bubbling though with M and Joe. Like he was talking about Slaughtermouse. I mean, when we first heard Slaughtermouse, he was like, "Yo, he's kind of dissing them, but not really."
Yeah, and I got that too, but
and then he made it make sense today. Well, you know, when he was saying like, you know, it originally started as a diss, but he you know, he took it in a different direction.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, he's never called M his brother. Like, I feel like when you call somebody your brother, I don't think
that's different.
Yeah, when you say it's my brother, that's different. Like, I don't want to see that, man.
Right.
Yeah, anyway, my fault.
That's Civil War.
Right? Nah, that would be like Mook versus Rex. You know?
No, I never want to see that.
Right.
I never want to see that.
Right. Shout to the top 2-1, Jim.
Easy, right?
Easy.
I don't know, man.
Hey, Jim, if you and B. Austin start going at each other, I'm gonna have to step in.
Yeah, we got a fair.
Listen, here's the thing though, me and B. Austin go at each other all the time, but it's all love though. Like, we'll go at each other and then go out together. Like, that's my brother.
But you know what I'm talking about though.
But I know, well, it'll never get to that. It'll never get to that because my thing is, I just won't say nothing at all.
Right, exactly. But I think there's so much that's at stake right now. Crook has been very vocal about the fact that he's recovering from alcoholism, and he's looking to do some things. Even with Crook's Corner, him being more visible online, he's obviously trying to get into a different space as far as hip hop.
Where's Joel at with all this, right? Because Royce Scott had one of the best albums of the year and the best
song. No, he's on his way with Apollo.
Yeah, he's got the joint with Apollo.
Mona Lisa coming out next month.
Okay, I need to hear something because
shout out to Apollo Brown, yo.
Oh my God.
OC, Planet Asia, Skyzoo, all have been on Tissue and the Tape. Apollo.
You're next. Oh.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like when I look at like Joe making himself like, you know, quote unquote relevant with the podcast, like Joe that Crook has been online and getting buzz, you know, with the whole thing. Royce got the best song of the year with Cocaine, if I didn't say that yet. It's like I'm just waiting for Joel to like, you know.
Well, Apollo Brown is as far as I see it, is like 6 for 6 with these collab albums.
Like so 6 for 6, huh?
don't ever put Apollo Brown.
No, you get what I'm saying. Though. I'm not saying.
I know. But no, I'm just saying. So like we already know what Joel does with the pen, and he's already been on a couple of Apollo beats already. He did the a couple dollars with Skyzoo.
Now that you told me that, I'm very excited because what's the album he did?
House Slippers.
No, Human. He did that with all the albums. The whole album with who was that with?
It was
one producer.
Illmind.
I think I didn't like that though.
Yeah,
I felt like that was a letdown.
And they're both dope too. It just didn't.
Independently, they're both amazing at what they do. It just didn't work well. Like, and I also heard he was working with Fred. Where's the Joel and
that was supposed to be Heatmaker's joint.
I think that's still coming though.
Okay, all right, because you know Fred the best punchline in the game, bar none. My fault though. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's all good. So I was about to say
I was waiting for you to say
it was Gordo.
Poppy.
Yeah, as we head towards the end of this episode, we commemorate this being the 200th episode of Tissue and the Tape. Of course, we wanted to give a shout out to everybody that's helped us get to this point, as far as our listeners, as well as people that have contributed to the show. Shout to Regina, shout to Kareem, shout to the homie, aka Faculty First, DJ Rick G's
Verse. Our first intro.
Yeah, first intro. Yeah. Came from him.
Our better halves.
Yeah. Definitely. Just shout to everybody that's contributed. Shout to the War Room Sports Podcast Network.
Love y'all.
Yo, well, you know what I wanted to ask you, Jim? Yo, where's my man, the soccer dude from Canada, yo?
Yo. Man. Y'all got him in the Disney vault, yo.
What was my man's name, yo?
Yo, I gotta reach out to him and see what's popping. But I'm gonna tell you, like, this is why going to episode 200 is so amazing, right? Because I'm telling you, man, like we work with people, seeing people come and go who just don't have the dedication. You know what I mean? And I'm not taking shots at him or saying that's what happened with him.
Yeah, not at all.
But I'm just saying in general, make it to 200 is crazy. That's 200 episodes. People don't think people recognize how crazy that is. Like you guys are working on having an episode literally for every day of the year.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Speaking of,
somebody cut the check. Hey, like I mean, because this
Phil,
ain't cheap.
You, man, listen. You said you wanted for us to just run down real quick our favorite album, favorite artist, favorite song since the show's inception on
April 19th, 2014, Nas Day.
Yeah, Illmatic Day. What were yours? What were your answers for that?
Illmatic 20th anniversary LP. That's the cheat code. So I'm not going to use that.
Yeah.
For the artists,
yeah.
That was the toughest one. Kendrick has been the most consistent in that time frame to me, but my favorite during that time frame has been honestly, I'm gonna say Skyzoo, man. Skyzoo just lyrically talk from music with my friends to
Peddler's theme
to Peddler's theme to the collab with Apollo to Celebration of Us. I mean, just it's feel like he's giving us an album every year that we've been doing this.
Yeah.
And gotta give an honorable mention to Rhapsody because she's been amazing in this time for Tissue and the Tape alum as well. So that Skyzoo is my artist. The song there's so difficult, but for the song that I probably listened to the most in this time frame, Planet Asia and Apollo Brown's Diamonds. That's my song. That's my theme music. That's what I wake up to. I had my first $9 smoothie just because of that. I mean, it was delicious. I mean, and then in the album, I mean, Anchovies, Apollo Brown and Planet Asia. It is, yo. I don't care what nobody says. I'll put that joint up against anything that I've heard in the past decade. Like that's how I feel about that joint. That's before he came on that. That's before he was a guest on the show. That was just that's why I was adamant that we had to talk to that dude.
Yeah, no question.
That album is special, yo. It's definitely special.
Yo, I felt like they've been a group for 100 years. Like it felt like they grew up together. The way that those beats perfectly meshed with the rhymes. I went back and listened to that over, and I'm upset that we didn't make it album of the year. I mean, I think we had a great choice for that. We chose that was 2017. So that was
wait, last year?
Yeah, it was Boy from Atlanta. Good music.
Because
Saha. Damn, I was drawing a blank. My bad, Saha. No dope on Sundays. Yeah, and it was that's a dope album. But Anchovies just that joint is literally soul food, sticks to your ribs style.
No, Anchovies is art. It's not even music. It's art.
Yeah.
To answer
avant-garde. I mean,
question, because you gave your favorite album, artist, and song, right?
Yeah.
All right. So for me, and this is so again, salute to you guys on number 200. My favorite artist, and it's crazy, right? So I love Super Underground, but and I was going. It's funny because I had a couple artists. I was going to say Drake just because I dislike a lot of Drake music, but the great thing about 2018 is the playlist game. When I take my favorite Drake records and put them in the playlist, it's so fire.
Yeah.
Some life.
I was also going to say Ross for that same reason. Like Ross has been very consistent on the low. Ross's discography and what he's put together as a body of work as an MC is actually music impressive on the low. But then I had two other guys, right? And this is since you guys have come, right? There's Mickey Fax, who I believe on the low has one of the best discographies overall in the history of hip hop. I know that sounds crazy, but if you go back and see everything that he's done from Mickey Mouse, to Why Not, to the recent jaunt, like everything that he's done, man, is
literal art. Also, Tissue and the Tape alone.
Yeah, so those are guys I were going to say, but I'm gonna say my favorite artist is Royce, because Royce is like,
I would have won $1 for that one.
Yeah, and took it up a notch. No, because like when I think about like Layers, Trust the Shooter, Book of Ryan, and this is over the last couple of years. Like we're measuring the last couple of years since
I was just telling somebody the same exact thing, but
Just listen to what you just said just now. So the 2 studio albums, Layers, Book of Ryan, the 2 mixtapes,
for Trust the Shooter,
and then the 2 collaborative albums.
Prom.
Yep.
What? 6 albums.
Like, how do you still have bars?
Yo, that is all since you guys started. That's what I'm saying. Like, so when I think about that,
and then plus all the guest spots, and he has some Slaughterhouse joints in there too.
Yeah. How does he still have bars though?
I don't even know. Like my favorite album, and I told you guys this. You guys thought I was joking when I was going to say this, but listen, man, Anchovies is up there, but yo, man, the Sister Solange, man, Seize the Table, and I know this is hip hop, but that's hip hop anyway because it's soul music, so it's hip hop.
It's hip hop.
That is literally my favorite album. Is probably the last decade. It's one of my top. I don't want to sound like too I'm just being sarcastic.
You don't want to sound like it's New Jack God.
Yo, because I don't want to make it a hot take, but that's literally like one of my favorite 5 albums of all time. And I say that because when I first heard it, like I'm not even gonna lie to you, I wasn't a big Solange fan. I didn't like any of her previous work. When I heard that, and I heard the music, I heard the message, everything, even to Master P, just doing interludes. The whole is perfect to me. To me, that is perfect.
You know how I know it's fire? Because I've heard it more than once.
Listen, that album to me is so good because it's gonna bring me back to a moment in time, which all great albums do, and the album strikes emotion. Like, to me, that's the good thing about music. Like when I talked earlier about Stan, like anytime music can make me feel something, it's cool. Which is why Kamikaze, as nice as he is, it doesn't give me any emotion other than, oh, he's nice, but it doesn't make me feel anything. That album makes me feel something. So to me, that's the best album since you guys have started. And in terms of song, my favorite song over the last couple of years is Who Tells Your Story, which is on the Hamilton soundtrack with Common and Black Thought.
Nasty.
Because to me, it's like the lyricism displayed in that song, and if you listen to what they're saying, that's so powerful. And they be getting busy. Like, it's like they're going at it. Tariq is going at it. Like that's like Water for Chocolate. Like, you know,
yeah.
Common, they're going at it, and that song.
Common.
And that's another one of those songs that it makes me feel something, right? So look, when you die, who tells your story? And the bars they're spitting is like, oh, to me, that's the illest song over the last couple of years. So that's my song. Album Solange, artist Royce.
Nice. What you got, Vod?
So we're going to get out of here in a moment, but I definitely want to give my picks real quick, and then I'll also just let everybody know we appreciate you for listening. Mine are pretty simple. I actually picked Royce for my artist. Again, what Jim was talking about, just in terms of just I'm like, how does he still have bars left? And then you look at the guest spots. He's on the new Eminem. You know, he's working with this person, that person. I mean, he's still just quality, like just incredible.
I listened to Prime today.
Yeah, and Prime was my album. That's my favorite joint, and even not being the deluxe version, even just being the nine songs, just the regular version of it, it still was enough to where it wasn't like a good music type of thing where I felt like I needed more. I felt like I was satisfied with that, and like the performances that he got out of everybody from Killer Mike to Jay Electronica. Like, how do you even get him on the album? Like,
let that man cook.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like to Schoolboy Q, to
Absol.
Yeah, to Dwelle, like, you know, just all
Larry Fishman, what's his name?
Mac Miller.
Mac Miller. Yeah.
Absol that.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
Mac Miller, quiet as cat, is a very consistent.
Yeah, no, he's nice. Like from a musical standpoint.
No, he is. When you think about all the tartar sauce beef going on right now, like, somebody need to say his name.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you try to get them all out of here in one shot deal.
I ain't gonna lie. Tartar sauce beef sounds kind of crazy though.
Yo, that sounds like that might taste good. Pause.
And my favorite song, man, is DNA, Kendrick Lamar.
Gotcha.
That's the last 4 years.
Yo.
Just the vocal performance, and if I could say the video that coincides with it, and then just overall, because that's the joint with Don Cheadle.
Yeah.
And then just where I've seen that song go, like, it's gone commercial, but it still has very much still stayed true to what he intended for it to be, I think, as far as the art and a part of his album and that story. Yeah, just great song. Yeah, I mean, those are my Royce, Prime, and DNA.
Shout out to DJ Flip, Elzad, and Ronnie Euro for Without Warning, because that was one of the songs that we probably played the most on this show.
Yes, that we played that like for like 2 months straight.
You might hear it at the end of this.
I just want everybody. I want everybody to go listen to that song. Who tells your story, yo? Because I'm getting chills thinking about it. I'm going as soon as we get off here. I'm going right now to listen to that song. Because to me,
too.
Yeah,
that song is so. That song is one of my favorite songs ever. Shout out to Common and Black Thought, two of the best ever. But
yeah,
you know.
Phil. Matter of fact, man, for our second heat check, man, tell them what it is again. It's Elzai. It's gonna be Elzai, Flip, and
Ronnie Euro. Fat Cat.
Yeah, enjoy that right now, people, right here. And on that note, man, as we head towards the end of this show, Jim, again, giving you a big salute, brother. Thank you for always completing the 3-man weave with us, stepping in times where we needed you to, and then also just providing the jewels and, the knowledge and, giving people something to think about. As always, we appreciate you for that, my man.
It's like when Dusty Rhodes team with the Road Warriors, yo.
No, thanks for sharing your platform with me, man. I always have fun when I come on here, man. And I can't wait to be doing episode 400. Still talking trash.
Oh, no doubt, man. And we very soon we have to do the Fab 5 episode with the entire war room. With myself and Vod.
Jim, I got to put this on wax too, man. We're planning on some things in 2019, and some of these things that we're thinking about is maybe a live show.
Let's go. Just tell me where.
Yeah, we definitely want you to pull up, man. We know you're used to stamps on the passport, but this will be domestic. This will be on.
Okay. I'm about to say we can't go do it like Antigua or something.
Not yet. We still working
more passport stamps. Let's trip to Miami.
It's a podcast family, John, man. Take a big family, Joe. Bring your whole family with us. Have some podcast and pizza, man. The podcast and pizza trip.
We should do one live from the cabin, though.
Oh, the cabin. Oh, we gotta do that thing that we talked about at the cabin. The thing that I won't mention on air that we've been talking about that we should have been did.
Oh,
that probably needs to happen at the cabin.
You already know, man.
But
I'm down for the podcast and pizza trip though, man. What's popping, man?
No doubt.
That'd be fire.
Hey, that would actually be a dope ass show.
Yeah. Pizza's life. But no, again, Phil, what do you have to say?
Go to the Maldives, or as Rick Ross calls it, the Mandives.
The Mandives.
The Mandives, he calls it. The Mandives. Go ahead, though. My bad.
Man, I just want to thank everybody that's ever rocked with us. Everybody that's took time out their day to listen to two hip hop nerds just talk about this thing of ours, this thing that we love called hip hop. And before I do, special shout out to Mickey Fax for doing that freestyle on Sway where he mentioned all the video games and movie references. One of the best things I've ever heard since we've been doing this show. And then Black Thought on Flex. Again, two of the best things that I heard. And but I give a shout out to my brother because as Jim said, we've come a long way from April 19th, 2014. We did this just because people kept saying there was no good hip hop out there, and we specifically was like, we're gonna tell them, we're gonna play them the music. We can't necessarily do that as much as we like to, although we do have Heat Holderz Radio now, where me and Rick G's will give you some of that quality hip hop music. Because we do this. I'm a Barry Horowitz this thing and pat myself on the back. I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you one too, because
Scott, man.
Hey man, fuck. I'm gonna just say it. We're better at this than all of y'all. A lot of people do quasi hip hop podcasts, and that's no shot at them. They do excellent work, and I support them. I listen to them. We've talked about Joe Budden podcast. The realest podcast ever is one of the best things. They have the best podcasts in the world. I say that to anybody. Their shit is incredible. What the War Room does is incredible. How they weave hip hop and culture and sports. What we do, talking about the idiosyncrasies of the music, how it affects culture, how everything is hip hop. Nobody does what we does. Nobody knows what we know. And that may sound like a bold statement, but it's the truth. And if you feel like you know more, I'm here at Philmatic365. PHILLMATIC365. Hey, yeah, I mean, locations is always on. I'm in Chesapeake, Virginia.
Oh,
I mean,
Scott.
Yeah, cuz.
I mean,
Listen, man, everybody eats, B.
Everybody eats, but you know, some people got filet mignon and some people got hamburger helper. I want the mignon. I want my mignon, yo, because we do this and our shit is dope, and we need to be Hey, I heard if you to be a millionaire, you gotta act like a millionaire. So fuck it. That's what it is. That's how we ending this. You work for the money. You live for the love. You die for what you believe in. This is Tissue and the Tape. You motherfuckers will respect Heat Holderz.
Hey, I'm hip hop even when I'm by myself. Holla.
Yeah.
Peace.